Alrighty, we're on. How are you guys doing? Guys, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? I'm like, I am driving to California. I'm allowed to advocate out of town once a month. Once a month, I think, is a lot because I've already left this falling down state, of Cali. And I'm heading back there. And I don't know why. I never know why. It's because I love people there. And I miss it. I miss it. Also, it's 100-something in Vegas, you guys. I got to get back and be able to breathe again. And I'm not sure if you're watching all the news, because I keep saying, stop watching the news. So this is very hypocritical for me to even say. But on mainstream media, there has been reports on that Trump is stopping all the spraying and the chemtrails, which I find very interesting in that I have breathed a lot better this week, and the skies are looking pretty dang clear. They've been looking clear for the last few days, so I'm like, coinky-dink, or did he really, is anyone going to first of all explain why they're doing this to begin with? No, they're just going to say, hey, we're going to just not spray you guys anymore with the poison, and we're all just going to be like, this is nice of you, it's so nice. It's so nice. I'm going to need to tell Jeff to let the kids go outside this weekend and draw real clouds and sit and breathe a little bit and then take a lot of pictures so we can all document what real clouds looked like once again. Because I remember going on road trips as a kid and we didn't have phones and things we didn't have DVD players. So we had to play the most boring games. How many of you guys had to play Herbie with your siblings? Where you'd see a bug, a Volkswagen bug, you go Herbie, and whoever called it, then you add it up, and it sounds like the most boring game if you were to tell. I try to tell this to my 9-year-old right now, how much fun I had playing Herbie, and she'd be like, so you just said Herbie, and your trip was 6 hours, and it was just whoever counted the most Herbies, and I was like, yes, that was our fun as children in a car on a road trip. And we also would look up at the sky and tell each other what we thought that cloud looked like versus what you can say now, oh, look at that. That one looks like a line of cocaine, and that one over there looks like another line of cocaine. This is just a bunch of cocaine lines. And your kid's like, what's cocaine? And you're like, it's a cloud, apparently. It's a man-made cloud that you get to deal with today. So who knows? Who knows what they're doing? And should we be thankful and grateful? I don't know. It's because there's other crap going on. That's for sure. There's always other things going on. What other games did you guys have fun with as a kid? Terrible. These kids will never know. They'll never know. What it's like to pass one of those call boxes and be like, hey, we got to remember that there was at least a call box a mile back. Who is using those yellow call boxes off the side of the freeway at this point? Not me. So here I go again. Anyway, quickly, you guys, what a mess this Lorena woman is, right? I can't wait. I'm going to do a live later, either today or maybe tomorrow with Lyra, on this Lorena chick. We got to can this woman. And you know what? What's sad is she runs and she co-authors bills alongside Senator Pan, who's just as crappy. I'm wearing my Pan is a liar shirt right now, can't really tell, but it's Pan is a liar. And that doesn't help because ever since pumping, you guys, I'll tell you this much, okay? Things are a mess all over here, okay? My left boob is significantly bigger than my right all the time. And I have to wear a shield because my left nipple has not quite healed. So anybody, if I see you and you hug me, it's going to be awkward. And it's going to feel like my boob had a boner on you. And I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, there's a piece of plastic because my nipple is literally been falling apart for 6 months straight now. Everything's okay. Everything's great. So don't be like, she's an awkward hugger. I'm actually a really good hugger. I just have situation happening. And so this Lorena, right, with her, gosh, first of all, what a mess with her husband trying to get involved. Of course he's standing up for his wife. You can give him that. Even though they kind of deal with some sketchy people up there. All politics are sketch. But she has the nerve, and I love that it's been captured so many times. Now, this woman and Pan, those are your only options, California. So you guys better pull it together in the next election. Stop voting blue, first of all. Just complete idiots who are like, blue wave, I don't care about what policies may or may not affect me, just blue wave, because I listen to the television. It's like, you know, these people on the blue wave, right? Like, they are only for your choice if it comes to murdering a baby. But the rest of it, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care about your kids, none of that, okay? Because she had the nerve. She posted up in January of this year, and so many of you have screen captured this, and it is beautiful. She is freaking out about the measles, right? Your kid can go to school and infect someone with the measles magically, even though they're not going through the condition themselves. They can pass it mysteriously and forget about all logic, because that's what it does. But she is out in January with family photos and posted on her Twitter that they're suffering from the norovirus, and they still went outside in public and took pictures. And you're going, well, the norovirus is probably not a big deal, right? No, it's a big deal. It's contagious. It's a contagious bit of an illness. The only reason you're not hearing about the norovirus all day long and in the news is because we don't have a vaccine for it. Duh. So what's the norovirus? Okay. The norovirus is a very contagious virus that causes vomiting and diarrhea. Okay? Anyone can get infected and sick with the norovirus. Anyone. You can get norovirus from having direct contact with an infected person, consuming food and water from an infected person. Direct contact, right? What are they doing out in public? Spreading freaking norovirus. Oh, but you know what? Family photos were way more important to Lorena, apparently. Family photos were so much more important to you, Lorena, that apparently it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And way to go. Way to be not just a sellout, but a complete tard. Okay? Yes, I called her a dingbat, because you're a dingbat. And I love that that is saved for all of us to savor. You get to savor it, because their argument is your kid that does not have said disease currently because they're not vaccinated can go out into the public and just spread said disease. You know, a rash for a week and feeling a little bit woozy. Meanwhile, way to go. Does your photographer know? I'm a photographer, I'm offended. Does your photographer know that you put them at risk for the norovirus? Your photographer is not only editing your family photos, but also suffering diarrhea while they edit your family photos. Way to go! Moron. Irritating. And you still have the people that'll look at that and go, that's okay. That's normal. Get vaccinated. I don't know anymore. Why am I not bringing the family? I mean, that helped, honestly, this trip. The kids they're over it. They're over the travel. It's too much for them, especially Enzo. And so also, you know, no sitter this weekend in San Diego. And it's okay. I think Jeff was also over it too. A part of him understands why I give myself these once a month trips and you know, try to budget to do this, but a part of him is probably also like, what are you doing? So irritating, you're going back to California. The income tax thing, you guys, you saw that post. Yeah, Nevada has no income tax. California, I mean, they're already taking your money, they're taxing you to death to begin with, and it's theft. And then the income tax thing comes in. And I do have to say, by moving to Nevada, we did save a heap. And when we incorporated, I'll tell you this, what we learned while incorporating, we learned that so many businesses from other countries incorporate themselves in Wyoming, in Nevada, for that very reason, so that they don't have to pay income tax. You have celebrities, okay, that do like a show once or twice a year in Vegas, but they buy a house there too. And as long as you are a resident of Nevada for 6 months and a day, you're technically a resident of Nevada, and you can get a driver's license, and you could be now a Nevada resident. And these are loopholes people use to avoid being taxed up the butt. And so you can't hate on people. Like, it sucks. We didn't make the rules, and you're not breaking the rules. It's a loophole. It doesn't mean it's illegal. It's a loophole that people use it. And if you have a business and you are in California at a 13-point-something% income tax, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's crazy. It's just crazy, right? Texas, yeah, I got a lot of opinions on Texas. I feel like they'll be one of the last states where things go cray, you know? I also saw another post that really tripped me out. Like, there's a lot of these, and, you know, I don't want to even talk, I'm not talking about the religion aspect of it, okay? But there's a lot of these jihad training camps that go on in this country, and I feel, too, like that's another thing that they're just trying to, like, blow us over with all these distractions. Nobody's paying attention to the fact that we have legit jihad campsites where people are training. And a lot of these are dispersed throughout Middle America. So some of these states that were looking really nice don't look that nice anymore, because I'm like, I don't want to be close to freaking training camp for this kind of I don't. So we just got to fight where we are, I guess. Unless you're in California, New York, then you got to get out. This is just crazy. You can literally buy yourself an extra 5 to 10 years if you just moseyed on over somewhere else, because, well, it's going to happen everywhere anyway. Yeah, it's going to happen everywhere, but I don't have to deal with the same crap you have to deal with, California. Like, if I was still living in California and I had to send my kids to school, I don't have to choose between poisoning them or not right now, currently. But aren't you afraid that it might go to Nevada? Yes, I am, but I still bought myself way more time than you, didn't I? Because I don't live in California, and I don't have that kind of terrible decision that I'm going to have to make. It's terrible. And but you know, Nevada's got problems too. Nevada has people that literally, our coalition here in Nevada is literally a bunch of women who are struggling to just make sure that Nevada doesn't turn into California. So it's like, you got to pick your battles. You got to pick your battles with that one. Another issue, so in the back of my car, look, first of all, when I pack and it's just me and not my kids and not a bird, I just throw stuff into the car. I'm like, I don't have to take the mom SUV out. I got to just take my zippy little car, just throw everything in the back. I'm lugging, P.S., and I love you guys, I'm lugging 3 Berkeys. 3 Berkeys in this car, because California is so effed up that, first of all, and she's going to send this to me because a lot of you who live and reside in California are getting these notifications. They had to notify you just recently that the water is contaminated. You know the water is contaminated. California, you know that there's arsenic, lead, and all kinds of poison in your water. And here is what is effed up about you also. A company like Berkey, even though they're not perfect, they're way better than what you got though, but I love their water filters. I use their shower filter too, although it doesn't quite get fluoride, but it gets all the other crap. You know that Berkey is not allowed to ship to California? Do you guys know that? That's how effed you are, California, because you put a law on that too. That's not Berkey's problem. Berkey, the guy who owns Berkey, he has a place in California, and guess what? He also has a place in Nevada. Surprise, surprise, to where I'm getting at. Saving him on the income tax and on the, anyway, so he resides in Nevada also, but it's brilliant, his move that he made, because not only is he saving himself tens of thousands of dollars, but California is just every reason, like, in the effed up book. How are you going to poison the water, California? And then you're not even going to let people buy something that can alleviate with the poison water situation. You suck. That's how bad you suck. And that's how much your leaders don't care about you. Your leaders in California are more concerned with getting illegals, all of their residing and stuff. They don't care. They don't care about the tens of thousands of people on Skid Row literally living in tents and in the street bringing back diseases like typhus. It is sick. And they still have the nerve to show up on social media with all these problems going on in California and be like, we are here in support for equality. No, no, you are not. And when Gavin Newsom talks, you guys, I don't know if anyone else gets this, but I feel this like pit in my stomach, like almost like he has this demonic vibe. It's almost like he drinks the blood of tortured children. I might be exaggerating, but he is creepy, and his wife's creepy, and they're all creepy. They're all creepy. No one's your hero. Like, not even Trump is a hero. Okay, this is not this like pro-Trump thing. I'm just saying, you guys have really crazy issues with your leadership. Look at who you get to pick between. You got someone like Lorena Gonzalez or Dick Pan. And I'm like, those are your options? Those are the options? Can you imagine going to the ballot box and those are your options? Oh, my heart breaks. So, as a courtesy, they're like, hey, you're coming to California. Can I ship my Berkey to you in Nevada? And when you come, you could bring it. Of course. Yes, of course. I'll deliver it. I will deliver it to you, California. Because if you have to live in that place and you want to wash your organic produce that was already $6.99 for an eggplant, and that $6.99 eggplant, you're going to have to rinse in arsenic, I will bring your Berkey, okay? This offer is null and void. It is not for just anybody and every person. Just letting you know that I do this as a courtesy every now and then. Just saying. I'm going to kick myself for what I offered on the Safe Heavy Metal Detox page just earlier. But that offer is going to expire in 24 hours because that live is going to expire in 24 hours. And by the way, you guys, that page allows me to do more than 15-second increments on stories, which is very suspicious, Instagram, that you allow that there and you won't allow it here. It's messed up. It is just messed up. What's going on? What's trickling in? I love, by the way, I know many of you notice this, but if I can't get to the comments on these lives, whether it's because I'm driving or whether it's because I'm too into a topic, I love that there's all these mini conversations that go on in this live, in any of my lives, that sometimes have nothing to do with my conversation. It's like a mom that's asking a question and you guys are just jumping in and answering, and it is a beautiful thing. What a community. What a great community. Thank you so much for helping. And a lot of times it's questions that, I don't really, if I saw it, I'd be like, oh, I gotta answer this again. But you guys are stepping in and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. You need one, you need a Berkey. You either need a Berkey or you need to get out of California, because I'm about to, after this, when I'm not on the road, I'm going to show you what these emails are looking like that people who live in California are getting, where they're literally admitting to you, hey, we just have to let you know that there's poison in the water, so can you just, as long as we let you know, we're off the hook. There's that, and then there's also all the nurses that are coming out that work in California. They're admitting that how many people are coming into their ER right now because of poison from the water. Hey, man, hot dang. Whoa. That whole, like, all of society should just stop today. America should just take a break, wouldn't you think? Don't you think that in the news, on CNN, everything should just come to a halt and say, you guys, California is admitting to that there's poison in the water. The country needs to stop. At least the state needs to stop. We gotta fix this. There's poison in our water. Anybody? Anyone? Hello? Nope. It does not matter to us that thousands of people are in the ER right now in California due to poison in the water. What matters to us is that there is one case in Kern County of the measles that's been reported. There's been a case of the measles reported in Kern County, you guys. If you're in Kern County and you have maybe been around the Hilton in this area, you might have been breathing, and you might need to now, regardless of that, if your body has already been infected, it's not going to matter. You should contact your health provider and get this vaccine. Because we are living in the Twilight Zone. And that has been your news of the day. Psycho land. Who's the psycho? Am I the psycho? Call me psycho if I think that is nonsense. Like, I don't want anything to do with that. Mombies of it all. I don't. Speaking of which, there was a movie, not just any movie, an Academy Award winning movie, okay? And I'm passing this area soon here, about a little town called Hinckley, California. And it starred an Academy Award winning actress who was paid probably $20 million for this role, Julia Roberts, Erin Brockovich, where she goes into this town called Hinckley, and she's dealing with the fact that PG&E was poisoning their water, and it caused cancer, and it caused things like infertility, okay, all sorts of disease. And these townspeople were awarded big time. I mean, if Erin Brockovich was awarded $2 million just for doing this case, you know, they rewarded these people big time. And what was that ingredient that was in the water? Hexavalent chromium. And guess what, California? That's what they're admitting is in your water. In other parts, not Hinckley, California, just California, California. This was like a documentary, like it happened, and people got awarded, and P.S., it's still happening. And they don't care about you. They don't care about you, so what are you doing? What are you doing? And speaking of with that movie, I had to tell my kids, it was a great example. I'm going to make my kids watch that movie and just blur out the parts that are not kid-friendly. Because, like, last night, you know, we found ourselves late at the Mac store because my laptop, which had survived for 6 years, just crashed on me completely. It just, for the past month, honestly, it's been acting up like crazy. The screen was even just so dim, like nothing was working, and whatever. I don't have to explain myself. Stupid thing broke. And everything's breaking right now, and a lot of people are saying it's because of the Mercury retrograde thing. But my point being, we're driving to the Mac store, and it's like 8 something at night. My daughter's like, why are we doing this? Like, irritated. Like, it's irritating her that I have to go and take her and her brothers in the car at night to do an errand. Like, how dare you? And I'm going to make her watch Erin Brockovich and be like, you know what this mom had to do? This mom was driving her kids around to, like, other cities for hours of the day in a car because she had to work. And we don't live in a society like that anymore, where kids just need to shut it. Just shut it. Excuse me, hello, no reason I gotta give you other than stop. You're not owed anything. No kid is owed anything. And some of you who have been like, you should write a book. You guys would hate my book on child rearing. You would hate it. Because you'd be like, she is mean. I'm mean, but I also don't negotiate with children, and I don't negotiate with terrorists. 2, none of it. How do you get your kid to eat what you put on their plate? Because I make them. Oh, how do you get your kid to drink all of that? Because I make them. And I tell them if they don't, I'm going to put more. And then they do it. Oh, yeah, because last I checked, I'm only 5 foot nothing, and I only have a very short window in my life to have my children fear and respect me in that way. Because I'm not going to be like, you know, with Sebastian, he's going to be 10, 11. I'm not going to be like, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, you better finish this celery juice. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I'm like, he's going to do it now. They're going to do this now because I tell them to now. And they just have to. I know that some people have, look, this doesn't apply to you if your kid has learning disabilities and issues. Obviously, that should go without saying. But there's no, like, beating involved, by the way. There's no beating involved, but I don't underestimate my kids because they're smart. So if you're smart enough, kid, if you're smart enough at the age of 4 years old to figure out DirecTV and the channel, actually she wasn't 4. Amelia was like 6. And we got directed. This is before we canceled our cable and all that, because no longer do I subscribe to giving a dime to these companies that are sellout news stations. Okay, so that's been over and done with for a while now. But when she was 6 years old, I had an issue with the remote, and I was trying to figure out how to block certain channels that I was like, my daughter should not be seeing any of this. And so I was on the phone with DirecTV trying to figure out the remote. And when I'm on hold, Amelia is like, Mom, all you have to do is press this button, it takes you to this screen, and then you go here, and then it's controls, and then you put in your password, and by the way, your password is like, she helped me figure out the parental controls for our cable situation. And I was like, then, if you know how to do all of this, then you surely know how to fold your own clothes, and you certainly know how to put away dishes in a dishwasher. And it just like opened up this entire thing of, oh, hey, Mom, I have friends who, when they clean their rooms, their parents give them $1. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Well, you tell them that because you cleaned your room, your mom didn't take away privileges from you. Because I go on an opposite thing of we're rewarding now with the consequence instead of like rewarding with rewards. You reward them like, hey, you obeyed, like you ate your dinner. Guess what your reward is? You're not going to go hungry tonight. Isn't that great? Isn't that amazing? Because you finished your plate, your reward is that you're not going to go hungry. What a concept. And my kids are like, really? Because when my friends finish their food, they get ice cream. And I'm like, yeah, it's a Thursday. It's a Thursday night. And oh yeah, no one owes you anything in life. So you don't get ice cream. Because for no occasion. Oh yeah, okay, you're gonna get ice cream because your friend Cassie gets ice cream. Okay. Mom, you're so mean. I'm not mean. Let's look up the ingredients in the ice cream you want to eat, and I'll tell you why I only allow you to indulge in this once or twice a week. So let's talk about this. But then it puts you into other places where you guys saw when I took Amelia to the movie theater and her friend got to get Diet Coke and she obviously didn't, and out loud, it's like, dang it, Amelia. Out loud in front of the mom, and her friend's like, do you want some Diet Coke, Amelia? And she's like, no, I can't, because my mom says that's poison. So every now and then, you're going to run into instances in public where you're going to be like, oh, hey, we can't say these things out loud for several reasons. But they don't get rewarded. Like, they don't. People thought I was mean. This is also why I don't really share all of this constantly on my stories, because of all the judgment that comes in. But I got all this crap like years ago, where Amelia was, I think, 3 or 4. She threw a tantrum at Toys R Us in the parking lot after she already got a toy. And the occasion was, we got a gift card for it because it was her birthday, so a friend was treating her to a Toys R Us toy, and she was mad because she wanted to get 2 toys, and I only was able to get her the one because, honey, the gift card was only for $25. Like, you get your pick. So she's 3-ish, not getting this, and pissed. And I was like, okay, and I was now pissed because we're walking out in the parking lot and she just got this brand new toy and she's in a pouty mood because she couldn't get a second toy. So I wasn't shaming her on social media. I'm not one of those moms that's gonna like do a post like that. I don't get when parents do that either. But I let friends know. Like, look at this. She's 3, so she's also throwing a fit at 3. And I, before we got into the car, I just looked at her and I was like, hey, knock it off with that attitude, because if you're going to continue with this, you're not going to get to keep this toy. She kept the pout on her face and she started doing this. And like just this, when kids do this fist. When a 3-year-old does the fist, this, I'm literally like, I have to hold myself back from laughing, because a part of me is like, what do you want to do? What do you want to go? What do you want to do? What are you gonna do, you little rugrat? So I took Amelia and the toy back into Toys R Us, got in line, got a return, okay? Got a return, got store credit. And I was like, I'm just gonna hang on to the store credit until like Christmas or something. I didn't tell her that. She had to witness this. She had to witness this. She was crying. Well, here's my thing. You're gonna be crying anyway. You were gonna be crying because you didn't get your way and you didn't get an extra toy. Or you're gonna be crying because you're gonna be learning a lesson. So I went with the latter, and she cried all the way home. And guess what though? Never again did she pull that on me. Never. Never. Oh, sorry, was this pausing? I don't know. It keeps getting the pause. Yeah, she pouted. I went back to Toys R Us. We did the return. And then she was crying all the way home. But that was one instance where it was a tough lesson for her to learn. And it was tough for me to have to do that with her. But she didn't do that ever again when we were out in a store. And my kids only have to know one time. I know some of you guys ask me, we want like information on like, you know, what do you feed your kids? How do you fit with your kids? And I'm like, you guys won't like half the stuff I say. But when we go into stores, right? And my kids were young, and kids throw tantrums. That is normal. I'm not saying it's not normal for a kid to do this. But when I'm your mother, it's not normal to do this more than twice. So we'll go into a store, and no joke, when they were between the ages of 2 years old to like 5, we get in the cart, and this is my first line as soon as those doors open into a store. Mommy knows where all the dark corners are in this store. Okay? Mommy knows where all the dark corners are, so don't test me. You want to test me, we'll go. And they're like, so I also don't have to deal with kids that are in stores. I just don't, you know? We don't need to get you a toy every single time we go out. We just don't. And I know of some parents who can't help themselves. They can't help themselves, but every time they're out, have to buy their kids a little something, even if it's $6 here, $7 here. No judgment. But you are creating a little bit, every single time you do that, you're creating a monster, slowly. Because there is going to be the day we're at the store, and all you wanted to do at the store was buy the one freaking thing, and you're going to have to say no, and watch them hate you, and not even be grateful for the 500 other times during the year that you've just said yes and done it. So I don't want to create a monster. And when we were younger, I thought that my parents, they did it right. I had no idea how broke my parents were. My dad sold his business in the Philippines to come to America to be a pastor. Literally, the churches were giving him just barely anything to live on, okay? I don't even know. When they told me how much they had to live on monthly, I was like, what? We were poor. And my dad's like, but I grew up thinking we were fine. I just grew up thinking we were really well off. And it's because of stuff like that. It's because we would go to the store and never expect anything, down to like Lucky Charms. Like, Ma, that cereal looks good. Can we try it? No. Oh, okay. It was like, okay, Mom said no. And we didn't think she was mean. We just were like, and we didn't think she was mean, and we didn't think we were poor. We just thought, okay, I don't get to have Lucky Charms. Versus now, monsters everywhere. Monsters. And it is, I mean, besides people saying your babies are so alert, your kids are so alert, I mean, I love that a compliment I get is your kids are really well behaved. They are well behaved, and it is really hard, and it was really hard, and it took, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, years 2 to 4 are painful years. They're years where you're at home and you're like in corners crying, okay? You and your husband are like crying and you're thinking, how did I spawn such a beast? They are mean. Sometimes Amelia, her comments to me, and they're sometimes so backhanded and so good that a part of me wants to be like, dang, that was a good one. But then a part of me also wants to shrivel up and die on the inside. And I go through all the emotions, and a part of me is also like, who does she think she is? And then I go through phases with her. She was my toughest one, and she still sometimes she just nips. Just to see. I think she nips to see like am I old enough now where mom won't check me in public? And then she gets proven wrong. You know? Hey, maybe mom's noticing that I'm like growing into myself right now, and I'm like becoming a little lady, and maybe if I say this to her, she won't embarrass the crap out of me in public. And it's this constant like, try it. But I would cry to Jeff and be like, I feel honestly like she's doing this to me on purpose, and there's like malice. Like, I feel like she's evil. And Jeff would be like, she's not evil, Natalia, don't say that. And I'm like, because she's so smart. And she's so smart that when she does this kind of stuff, I know that she knows what she's doing. So like, now there's a reason she's doing it, and she knows it's doing it to get me to this. And it's making me really sad. I go through this. Every parent goes through this. But I will check you, kid, because I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm in charge. It's me in charge, not you. But I never do that in front of them. I do that in the corner. And it just, routine maintenance. Routine maintenance. It's hard. It is hard. It is not easy to leave your kid in the high chair for 2 hours so that they finish their flipping dinner. Because I'm not arguing with you, kid. I'm not. You were fine with the baby food I'd make for you. You were fine, kid, up until this day. This is parents where we're not even considering the day where we're like, where did it all go wrong? Parents will say this all the time. When she was a baby, she would just eat whatever. I could give her mashed up broccoli, peas, pears. I could give her anything, veggies, and she would just eat it. And then just like one day she just like only can eat chicken nuggets and only can eat pizza. As if you're some kind of freaking short order cook. No, this is what happened. This is where it went wrong, okay? And I'm going to tell all of you this now. If you don't have kids yet, mark my words. And you're welcome. This is where it goes wrong. Your baby learns how to eat everything, and then they're starting to talk too. And they're becoming a little bit little independent mini versions of yourself. And you find yourself in a restaurant because you're like, family night. And the waitress comes up and says, what would you like to eat, honey? And then you might even repeat that, yeah, honey, what do you want to eat? And do you know what happens there? Do you know what you just did in your life? It's all going to go downhill from here. Because your baby just sat back for a second, their eyes lit up, and a light bulb came on top of their head, literally like, bing! And this is what your baby says. I've had a choice this entire time? I've had a choice? And that's it. You ruined it. You ruined it for the rest of their childhood. It's done. Now they're gonna be like, I've always had a choice. How dare this person? You mean to tell me I could have had French fries, ketchup, and chicken nuggets all the time? And that's it. So here's what you do. You never give them a choice at the restaurant. Never. And first of all, never order off the kids' menu. Like, seriously, doesn't it kill you guys? I'm not paying $9 for buttered noodles. You could just made this at home. I could just packed it in this diaper bag and no one in this restaurant would have judged me because I'm at least ordering a meal for myself. I'm not spending $9 on buttered noodles. Sorry. No, not going to happen. My kids know when we sit down at a restaurant, I order for them something to split. And at best, I'll give them a choice between two healthy options that they're going to be, what, but Ma, hey Ma, did you see that there's a slice of pizza on this menu that comes with a root beer? Hey, did you see that Mommy doesn't care? Oh yeah, okay Mom. I don't care. Hey Mom, it says that there's pizza, there's chicken nuggets, or this one comes with a burger, and I'm like, hey, that's great that you can read. Your reading has seriously improved. Way to go. Way to go. Public school is, it's wonderful. It's wonderful that you can read that entire menu. Now tell me which one of these two healthy options you're going to want to eat and split. And that's it. And that is it. I'm not perfect. My methods are not perfect. I don't think I'm perfect. I don't think I'm better. You know who I am better than, though? Myself in the past. That could have went south. I'll tell you that much. Oh, she thinks she's better than... No, you know who I'm better than. And a lot of times when I post stuff, you guys don't even realize this. I post a lot of stuff so that I remember these things, and so that when I, in months from now, can go back and be like, yeah, okay, good, I still agree with myself from a year ago, or that, yeah, that made sense, that was a good post, that was, I do that, it's for me, it's mostly for me. If I ever at any time sound lecturing, a lot of this is just to remind myself. Okay? Are we on the same page? Because I mean it. It's for me. I'll scroll through that timeline on Facebook. Sometimes it's nice to jump back to 2014, 2015 and be like, oh man, when I was posting about this one topic and it got crickets, it got no likes, and it got 3 ex-friends jumped on that post to tell me what an idiot I was, and that I'm not a nurse, not a doctor, and I have no right to talk about this kind of stuff because I'm an idiot. I like looking at stuff. It kind of humbles you, you know? So, and hopefully it encourages you guys to just say it anyway. Just say it. Because life's too short. That was stupid. I don't even know why I posted it. Like, how dumb. Well, maybe somebody tell me something so that I can go on with this. I am bored. I need company on this road trip. And my company was supposed to be, when I'm done with this live, I've got like 6 different documentaries I got to catch up on. I went down the megalith path, you guys. If you haven't gone down the megalith thing and you're interested in it, email me, because I'm going to send you off some links, you guys. I'm talking the Giza pyramids. I'm talking how those things were like legit just batteries. They were not tombs. They've already admitted that nobody was being buried in these things. All of these ancient whoever, they weren't being buried in these things. That was never a tomb. But why do we think it was a tomb this entire time? These are like advanced civilizations, and I was going to go down that path for this road trip while I sit in some traffic that's coming up here shortly, you know? And that's going to be interesting. Who's gone down the path of the megaliths? Because they're hiding that stuff. You know that those things were like in China and in those other regions too? They're trying to tell you that it was only in Egypt. I think it's because Egypt, the only tourism that they have is the pyramids. So you're welcome for another rabbit hole. But it's like, that's the only thing that's bringing money into there. Like, what other reason do you go to Egypt but to visit the pyramids? Do you know, though, that they're in all these other locations and they're being buried? Like, China tried to bury their ancient pyramids, but stupidly, the way they buried them was they were putting like gardens on top of them, and what happens is over time these things falter, and then you start seeing like, why does your pyramid look like it was covered by one big chia pet? Like, what is that? They're hiding them. They're hiding all of these structures from the past because they want you to think that everything has been discovered. We grew up, we're born, how sad. The human being, the human innate like desire is to discover and to like go out into the world and you're in a world though right now in a time where they're telling you no but since the 1930s there's no more discovery. Since satellite, we've discovered everything. It's literally the Truman Show. And I'll tell you this, there's a lot left that has yet to be discovered. And what's sad is a lot of these people that go out and do these expeditions, they're going into territory that they're not allowed in. They're risking their lives because of the desire to go and explore. And what sucks is when they find stuff, they can't document it and talk about it yet for like 10 more years because they got to gather as much information as possible, because by the time they do put it out there into the world, it gets taken down. It gets pulled. Their entire research thing just gets crushed. This thing, I'm like fascinated now with this. So, if you also are interested, I will send you some very fascinating documentaries that you need to be watching. Just cause. Once again, not a hill I'm going to die on, but it's at least a hill I'm going to cry on, because why did my parents send me to school for 12 years? What did I learn there? Nothing of importance. What I learned was not real history at all. And what struck me was definitely Operation Paperclip. If you guys, because YouTube still has those videos, if you haven't looked up Operation Paperclip to notice the big, and this is they're not even hiding this portion of history anymore. They've admitted, oh yeah, we admit that all of those Nazis that were terrible, that were doing these experiments on people in World War II, they're not in Germany. They got moved to Washington to do their experiments here on us since World War II. And it's just sick. They've admitted it's no longer a conspiracy theory. Everybody knows about this now. And we're still twiddling our thumbs going, okay, government, it sucks that you lied to us for that many years, but what else do you have? What else do you got? What other information out there are you going to give me now that in another 50 years you're going to be like, sorry? That one's scary. That one's way scary. What do you mean you didn't kill these people who are committing such atrocities and experimenting on human beings? You moved them to Washington, D.C., and you pretty much funded the rest of their existence to do the testing here, which is why we have fluoride in our water. They were kind of the ones that assisted in that, and there's a design to it. Guys, I don't like listening to myself. I don't know how any of you guys, the ones on here who listen to me more than once a week, I don't know how you do it. Because for me, this is venting. So I hope that you have something that you do when you're off these chats with me, like go get some grounding, go get some earthing done, because there's a lot to take in. It's not easy stuff. But, once again, it wasn't just Hitler. Hitler didn't kill anybody. They say he killed himself. So if Hitler had any kill, it was one kill. It was himself. Who's the dangerous ones? Who are the dangerous ones? The 13,000 some odd Nazis who obeyed Hitler and obeyed his commands. That's why the elites, the people that do all of this terrible stuff, yeah, they're terrible, they're tyrants, they're awful, they're bad. But they're not the scariest ones. The scary ones are the ones who are like, yes, bowing to them and will do whatever they say. The minions are the scary ones all the time in everything throughout history. The minions are the reason that millions and millions of innocent people were murdered. Because when you're innocent and your baby is being ripped from your arms because of a Nazi agenda, I guarantee before you die and before they kill your baby, you're not thinking about Hitler. Your enemy in your life is that person that did that and that's what we're dealing with all day long with this kind of stuff. This is why I freaking go to places like California to wake up more of these zombies, because this is your only chance you're going to get. You're going to get the one wake-up call, and that's it. I don't have to prove anything to you other than you're being lied to, and here's a few things, and then that's it. And they're scary, because if they get all this information and they refuse to still read an insert, and they refuse to do any of the research, like your mom card should be taken away from you. If you're going to allow your baby to go into a well check, right, where there's zero liability, zero accountability, and you're going to have all these poisons go into your baby's system. Not one drop of honey, though. They won't be allowed one drop of honey until they're one, because it's magic when they're one. But I'm going to allow all this other stuff. You should lose your mom card. That sucks. That sucks, really and truly. But if you're still blind to it, you just don't know because you think you can sue these people. Anyway, yada, yada, yada. But those are the people that are going to be scary in the long run. Those are the people, those are the minions. Those are the minions that you're going to have to worry about, you guys, when the shit hits the fan. Because those are the people that will be the first to report you. They're going to be the first to report your family. They're going to be the first to say, oh, I know of a parent that doesn't vaccinate their kids, and here's their information, and they will be the first. It's not going to be Senator Dick Pan knocking at your door because he is evil. It's not going to be Lorena coming to your door saying, excuse me, because we passed these bills, we now need to take your kids. It's not them. It's going to be the state actors, the public health officials. It's going to be your neighbors. It's going to be friends and family that you thought were friends and family, that you thought had your back, that are going to turn you in. And those faces will be the last faces that you're going to see if the shit hits the fan. They're scarier to me. These zombies that I go into this dangerous terrain that is California thinking and the California mindset, that's dangerous territory, I'm telling you. That is scarier for me than going into a pharmacy, than going into the pediatrician's office, than going up and again, but they're the minions. I'm sorry, you pediatricians, you doctors, you nurses, especially the ones that know better and are refusing to do better because for whatever reason you got medical school bills to pay. And how do you sleep at night, first of all? Which is why so many doctors kill themselves in their 50s. They have all their money. You wonder, why'd you kill yourself? Why'd you end up killing yourself? Guilt, shame, yeah. And you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed, but once you wake up to it, we'll forgive you. Which is why many of them don't wake up to it. You ask yourself, why do these pediatricians, why don't they read inserts? Why don't they read inserts? Why don't these nurses who are administering this hundreds of times a day read inserts? Because once they know what it is that they are injecting into these babies, their conscience is going to kill them if they continue with one more syringe. That's why. That's why. So if they're going, oh, I still have that boat payment to make. I just moved into that fancy neighborhood. I just enrolled my kid into that private school. I can't afford to not work here. And that's why. It is more than cognitive dissonance. It is a pit in their stomach that they don't want to admit to learning about and knowing about this evil. Because once you know about it, it's really hard to deny it. Every nurse that speaks out against this right now, for whatever reason, whether their kid got vaccine injured, whether they just learned eventually, they end up quitting. They end up getting into holistic medicine, right? And when you ask them, how could you do it? How could you know that this was they'll tell you, I didn't know. But when I did know, I quit. That's why. That's how. That's how you can work in an office all day long and see these boxes lining up your shelf and know that your pediatrician that you work for is getting a bonus and hear the cries of the parents and get the phone call after phone call after phone call and have to tell them over the phone, oh, just take Tylenol. Oh, it's just normal. That's how. Because the minute they know, you guys, the human conscience will kill them slowly. It is going to attack your soul. It is going to attack your soul, your existence, you as a human being, to knowingly poison a baby multiple times in one visit. You won't be able to do it. So that's how. Why are there all these doctors that just don't, and then they say they just go to the CDC, they refer to the CDC because it's easier. Isn't it easier? Because then they feel like that burden isn't on their back. Well, guess what? If you're the Nazi that was commanded by Hitler to push that person and that kid, that whole family into that gas chamber, you're just as guilty. oh, but I was just following orders. I was just following what Hitler told me to do at the time. And yeah, you still had to kill yourself, right? In your 50s and 60s, you still one day just killed yourself, didn't you? Because your gut and conscience told you this is wrong. I'm not telling people in the healthcare industry, by the way, to go and kill yourself, please. I'm just saying, we're in a time in history right now where you kind of have no excuse. There are 15-year-olds who play video games for a living, and they just record themselves playing video games for a living, and they have YouTube channels, and they're making 6 figures a year. And I'm not saying to go and do that exactly. I'm literally listing one of 1,000 new jobs and possibilities that came about in the past decade because of technology. And you are excusing yourself because you were lied to in an indoctrination system that made you think you now needed to go to this college and get this degree, which now, you know, that degree is literally handcuffing you to a career that has gone kaput. It has gone kaput. Nurses and doctors, you are no longer living in a time in history where you are actually helping people. I'm sorry, but it's obvious. You're not. You're getting paid to follow a pharma-funded guideline. You're not in the health industry. You're in the death care industry. So you have no excuse. But if you're feeling like, what's the option? Well, I'm going to have to continue to poison kids and continue to poison people and prescribe people things that I know are just going to keep them dependent on a system. Because if not, I have to still pay back Kaplan College or whatever college I went to that I owe $40,000 to. $40,000? $100,000? Is that worth your soul? Is that worth your humanity? Crazy, terrible excuse. You have a terrible excuse. Oh, because I live in this state and it's so expensive to live here and it's so, like, what? You know that very popular meme of that bird on the telephone wire, and there's that guy looking up, and it's an inner city and it's a crappy city, and there's that guy who's looking up at this bird on this telephone wire and he's going, you're a bird. You have wings to fly. You could be anywhere. Why are you sitting on that same shitty telephone wire, you know, in this inner city that's crap? Why aren't you, if you're a bird, why aren't you in the most beautiful place on earth? Why aren't you, like, enjoying life where the weather's great, and then the bird is asking the same question of the human being standing there. It's a powerful post, and I hate to have to bring it up so often, but why are you planted there? You're in a time in history where there's never been so many opportunities and different things to do and possibilities, jobs, ways to make money that actually could be helping people if you really wanted to help people. And you're choosing that. Man, I went off on a million tangents on this live. Anyway, my phone is dying and it's going to boot me off this. So, we'll chat soon. I hope to do a live soon with Lyra. And anyway, say your prayers for me, you guys. This trip is also costing me, and I just need the extra protection. Also, if you do pray for my family and Jeff, who's home with 3 kids, so that I could do this. That would mean a lot to me and my family if you could pray for their protection too. You know, because Enzo's really mobile now. And we all know that those ages of the mobility are like scary ages. But yes, okay. This was fun. This was fun. I could just stay on. Maybe when my phone charges, I'll jump on later. Or not, I don't know. All right. We'll talk soon. Bye, guys.